Here we go. So let's start our conversation today about content generation to boost your e-commerce business. We have got two fantastic experts with us today who are going to share their insights based on their own experiences and expertise. First, we have Blair Castle. Blair is a seasoned marketing professional with a robust background in strategic communication and digital marketing. After earning a bachelor's degree in strategic communication from Ohio University, she honed her skills in graphic design and website development. Her early career involved creating digital strategies for local nonprofits and businesses, where she specialized in search engine optimization, or SEO, social media marketing, and brand management. Since joining the FedEx Digital Commerce Solutions team, Blair is a vital contributor to supporting customers and sales across all segments, leveraging her expertise in SEO and e-commerce content strategy. She is currently the lead editor of an internal e-commerce trends report, delivering insights that empower sales teams to drive customer success. Blair's positive energy and customer-first mindset have earned her recognition as a true professional and trusted consultant. And just a word about the FedEx Digital Commerce Solutions team. It is comprised of team members with digital marketing and e-commerce skill sets and backgrounds. They're engaged by their sales team during a typical consultation. The DCS team takes a holistic approach with customers by assessing their current business model, then sharing best practices relevant to their unique digital marketing goals. All of that is a wonderful way of saying that Blair has the background and expertise perfect for our conversation today. It's so great to have you, Blair.
Thank you, Brittany. I'm so happy to be here.
Wonderful. And next we have Julienne Reyes. Julienne is a founder of Belugabee, an online stationery and sticker business that gives back to the environment and children in need. She and her team lead hands-on initiatives like arts and crafts and reading programs, showing how giving back can be fun. With over 10 years of marketing and finance experience, Julienne started Belugabee in 2020 during the pandemic, no easy feat for sure, and has grown her online community to over 80,000 people with plans to reach 200,000 by the end of 2025. I love that. Hi, Julienne. Great to have you.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Wonderful. Okay, so we've got the perfect speakers, we've got the perfect topic. I'm ready to jump into it. So we all know that creating strong content is essential for standing out in today's e-commerce landscape. It is not just about getting attention, but also about building that trust so that we can drive those real business results. Blair, my first question is for you. How does creating strong content help our businesses grow?
Awesome. I love that actually you started to answer the question there, in the question. Creating strong content, it's the foundation of a successful e-commerce strategy. So it helps our businesses grow in three very big ways. One, as you mentioned, building trust. Customers are increasingly selective about where they spend their money. They're very hesitant now. We have to kind of lead them through the buyer's journey, get them to the end, get them to make that purchase. And they're very hesitant now. There's so many people out there on the internet that, we got to work together. So high quality, authentic content, whether it's the blog post, your product description, social media, anything like that will demonstrate your expertise and your authenticity in the field. So for example, I've got a couple examples lined up here. Say you own a dog bed company, sharing how your dog beds are different from someone else, how your dog beds can solve arthritic issues in elderly dogs, the materials they're made of, say they're eco-friendly. Those types of things create more of an authentic voice for you. Now, they also help in a couple other ways. One, driving engagement. Another thing I believe you mentioned previously. So you want to spark a meaningful conversation with your customers. Not just say, here's who I am, here's my product, here's what we do, but actually, get to know them. What are their needs? What do they care about? And build that, bridge that gap for them. And then lastly, you want to improve conversions, which is a nice way to say, ultimately, we are business. We want them to make that purchase. So your content acts as a silent salesperson for you. A clear product description, how-to guides, short form videos demonstrating your product, things like that will help influence your buyer's decision. And you know, at the end of the game, this is an SEO conversation too. This will come up a few times. Strategically using keywords that are relevant on Google to follow your content is a way to get Google to promote your brand for you as well. So strong content, it's the whole package. It's not just words, it's not just visuals, it's answering your customer's need and giving them an intent, making sure that you're actually answering their problems, solving their problems, answering their questions, and working to create value and foster an actual relationship, not just, hey, buy my product because this is why.
Love that you mentioned the examples too, especially with the dog bed as a dog owner. Like that would so speak to me, you know, thinking about what I'm looking for. And I know we're going to get more into SEO and keywords because those are definitely hot topics, but so thank you, Blair. My next question, Julienne, I have a similar question for you. In running your business, how has creating strong content helped grow your business?
Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you for being here today. So in the beginning, honestly, I didn't know what strong content was, right? That's probably a question that you all have in your head. What is that? How can I make my content strong? But when you look at this marketing funnel, the problem that it solved for me, strong content in general, is that it did bring a lot of eyes to my business. You want to ask yourself, how many people have seen your business? And then you kind of bring them down this funnel. I know Blair mentioned a little bit of these pieces, is like, people will become aware of your business. So for example, in this month, which is more common nowadays in my business, is that I had over 300,000 views. But now how do you convert those people to care about what you have to offer, whether that be a service or product, right? So answering those questions of who is your product or service for, but in unique ways, ways that stand out to them, right? And speak to them. So, and also, how does it solve a problem? If your product or service can solve a problem, by the way, again, they did mention I do a lot of stickers and art and things like that. So it's harder to solve a problem with artwork, right? From my experience. So I had to get real creative in the beginning of how to show people that they should buy my products. Okay. And then moving them through this, you can do that with social media, moving them from just being aware about your business to actually becoming a loyal customer and advocate for your business through, like, some people will share about your business. They will tell other people, they will give you referrals. But again, that is through strong content. And one example I want to give before I, pass it on to Brittany again, is that when you have a business plan, I know if you have a business plan, maybe raise your hand right now. But if you have a business plan for this year, which is great, you want to, a way of creating strong content is associating your content creation with your business plan. So let's say, for example, just a quick example, Valentine's Day is coming up, right? So you might have some kind of special or some kind of special that you're throwing. Let's say you have a bouquet business, but how can you make it stand out amongst everyone else that's doing that, right? So I know we'll talk about SEO and those things, but what you can do is create a content strategy and content creation where you make videos, especially videos, I'll talk about that later, not just static posts, about why they should choose your product for Valentine's Day or your service for Valentine's Day. But yeah, just what this has helped me with, Brittany, overall is getting more eyes on my business, right? And then getting creative about how to move them from being aware to consideration to conversion and eventually becoming loyal customers and advocate for my business. And overall, for me, was building community, which is what I'll talk about later.
Oh, I love that. And I love how you talked about the very real struggle of trying to solve a problem, like getting creative about that and making sure that that's at the front of your business. And also, like, what is strong content? That is so real in the beginning. And those numbers are so impressive, Julienne. And I know we're really going to learn more about your process. So I'm excited about that as well. Okay, Blair, what's the role of content strategy in scaling a small business?
So Julienne actually started to hint at this a little bit, having a strong strategy that correlates with your business goals. So playing a huge content strategy, it plays a huge role. You want to make sure that your content, it matches your business plan, it matches your brand voice. Having that kind of strategy, it ensures you deliver the right message to the right people at the right time when they're looking for that. With Julienne's example, if you're a bouquet company and on Valentine's Day, how do you stand out? Well, you want to make sure that you're showing, what makes you different. We call that your value prop, your elevator pitch. What makes you different? What makes your product different? How are you solving their problems? And let's make sure we do it enough ahead of time. For those of you who are more in the Valentine's industry, maybe start marketing out now, maybe even at the beginning of the year. Let's start talking Valentine's Day. Think about like when Valentine's stuff's in grocery stores, like they've been in stores since the day after Christmas. So we want to make sure that we're hitting that right audience right when they're ready to make that purchase. But a few other ways we can do this, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on kind of what Julienne was hinting at here, is establishing your brand identity and your brand voice. You want to make sure you know exactly how you're supposed to sound, what your branding sounds like, what your messaging should consistently be. And it doesn't matter what the avenue is, educational blog, social media post, email newsletter, that consistent messaging is going to build your brand recognition wherever you are reaching that audience. And so if you've got the right brand voice in place, that's your foundation there. Okay, now let's find the right audience. I wonder how many, if you haven't, create a persona, create a mock customer for you to be marketing out to in terms of Valentine's Day. Let's market out to the husbands to get their wives flowers, all of that. But make sure that you know exactly who your audience is, what their challenge is, what their intent is, what they need from you. So then you can be answering that question ahead of time. Another thing with your content is making sure that you have that, again, SEO keywords, you have a good strategy for optimizing search engines. So we'll talk a little bit later on about how to find those kinds of keywords and how to get recognition from Google, make Google work for you. But once you have your voice and your audience in place, now let's kind of integrate all those keywords into our content. Let's try and get Google working for us, pushing out our website for us. And then the last thing to really focus on is trying to drive consistent growth. So a good content strategy is one that, again, can go through multiple channels, diversifying, so you have different audiences you're reaching, different demographics, but staying ahead and trying to anticipate what your customer needs are. It's great to get feedback from your customers as they're asking you, here's what I need, here's this. But if you can anticipate it ahead of time, you've already skipped a couple steps. They're ready to make that deal. So create blog posts on challenges that your customers might be facing, or create short form videos for social media, big deal, as Julienne mentioned as well. Create some of that content. So take one blog post, create a couple short form videos out of it, and then start pushing out on your email newsletters. Things like that can really transform your e-commerce business and get you audiences you might not even have thought to reach initially.
Oh, I love that. It's a whole process, right? From thinking about like, when are people even like thinking about the Valentine's days or the whatever, all the way down to how can you use it in your blog posts and repurposing things I really love as well. Because it's not like you're recreating the wheel every single time. You're using it to your advantage. I love that. And
Exactly.
let's see. I see some questions coming in the chat. That's amazing. If you have a question, and I see some hands up, we actually do all questions or anything you have, please just drop it in the chat. And I promise we'll get to you if you have any questions for the live Q&A, or if you're having any other issues or anything, just drop that in the chat so we can assist you. Okay, Julienne, my next question is for you. Can you share a specific example of how content helped you build your audience or drive sales for your business?
Yes. So I think you're gonna pull up. There you go.
Yes.
So there is a picture here, and this was in early 2023, right? So it was one of the times where I told myself to post 3 times a day. And I know Brittany was like, maybe you don't advise everyone to do 3 posts a day. That's a lot. Okay. 3 a day is a lot, but I had time to do it. I had more time than like funding to do ads at back then. So I told myself, let me do 3 times a day. Again, I did this multiple times. So as you could see, these are all the videos that I posted, 56 videos. Again, also, I wanted to mention, if you want to hire someone to do that, you can. You don't have to do it yourself. Yeah, so there are people that hire social media people to create the content for them and come up with a strategy. So I posted 56 videos about my products. And as you can see, there's different amounts of views here. So some of them only got like 1,000 views. Maybe some of them got like 900, but some of them made like 67,000 views, etc. And these, as you can see, I'm showing my product in different ways, how to use them. And these are just stickers, right? I know a lot of you have businesses that can solve a problem, which is really great. And I can talk about that later with another example I'm going to give with my friend. But here are the results of January 2023 when I posted these. If you could go to the next slide, Brittany. So from my sticker business, right, I was able to pull in over $7,000 in that month. But this is just from my Shopify. I also have an Etsy. I also have my wholesale and things like that. So I did make a lot of money from that also. And if you look at the bottom, it says that I have 230 orders. So from my Shopify. So for you, if you think about how many, like, what's your average order, or like for a client that you have, if you had 230 of them, I think I reached around 300 that month, then how much would that be in your business, right? The number could be completely different. So that's what I wanted to share with you is creating content that where you're targeting your audience. I know someone asked that, and I think we're going to go over that later, is how do you find your target audience? But if you could go to the next slide, Brittany, this is where I talked about, where I want to show about my content and how it got me a lot of partnerships and collaborations. So if that's something that you want to do, then this is what I wanted to show you is I had a collaboration with a boba shop, right? Which is Teaspoon. They have multiple shops. So this was my first collaboration. They asked me to do custom stickers, and of course they paid me for that. And then another Teaspoon store asked me to do 300 stickers and a pop-up event, which I didn't pay for. I was there for free to sell my products. And then because I used SEO on like a lot of keywords and hashtags and titles on my social media with these videos. By the way, between these two, I created probably 10 videos. Okay, so you have to say something multiple times. You can't just say it once and expect everyone to know what it is that you're talking about. So I made custom stickers for a neighboring dessert shop called Sweet and Savory in that area, and they reached out to me because they found this. And then let's move over really quickly. This other one, a follower who was actually following me already, she worked for a Teaspoon, and she asked her boss, hey, can you actually bring this person in? Can we do something like this? Also, the first picture, can we do this at our Teaspoon? So I was able to lock in like 3 events from them, just from someone following me already, and following my content. And then one of my customers, because I posted about that I was going to be at that event, she came like, she drove like almost 2 hours just to come see me. And she ordered over 200 stickers, a bunch of items from my shop. And she still talks to me to this day. That was a while ago. And from there, I also locked in another collaboration because they saw I did tote bags from the Teaspoon event. So they ordered 100 tote bags from me, and it was for a farmer's market, which was fun. But I grew a lot of, I was able to get a lot of connections through this. So they invited me back for 2 more events. And then, yeah, for like the holidays, and I'm still working with them currently throughout the rest of this year. They're actually having me do a environmental event, because I like to share about the environment and kids in need. So I'm doing an event, and they're sponsoring the entire thing because I worked with them, and they know that I'm going to share about them through social media, because they want other people their audience to see them, or my audience to see them as well. And then currently I'm working on 300 stickers from this other person. The second box that I showed, they're ordering a bunch of stickers, and they actually are hiring like my friends that do photography, videography because of my posts. So through all of this, it is really like a portfolio. Okay. So it's not like one video is going to be, I don't like focusing on virality. I like focusing on content strategy and how can I attract more brands, right? I want to work with more brands and do more collaborations. So that's why I posted content like this. And again, each box represents multiple pieces of content. So yeah, hopefully I answered the question there.
Oh my gosh, yes, I totally think you did. And also, I love what you said about, it's not about going viral. It's about like building this really organic audience, and how these really organic collaborations came through, and they were just continuing to serve. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Julienne. Okay, Blair, what is a quick win for improving SEO that small businesses often overlook?
Sure. So actually, there are two quick things that come to mind. One builds off the other. Something that I talk to customers a lot about. And when we say SEO, a lot of people immediately think keywords, and we get it. But there's actually a little bit of a misunderstanding by what we mean by keywords. It's not one or two phrases. It's not just dog beds. We want to focus our existing content to long tail keywords, which is a nice, easy way of saying short phrases, very niche, very specific, lower competition phrases that directly attract what your audience is looking for. So with my dog beds, they're coming back for this question too. For this example, instead of using like dog beds, you could say orthopedic dog beds or eco-friendly washable dog beds, being very specific and understanding, again, what your customers would be searching in Google, what they're looking for. So how do you do some keyword research? I saw a couple of those questions work through. We'll talk a little bit more on that on a couple different strategies in a minute, but tools like SEMrush or Google Keyword Planner or there's all sorts of keyword strategy tools out there that'll just show you what's being searched in Google at the moment. There's another tool called Answer the Public. You can type in, for this example, type in dog beds, and it'll tell you real time what people are searching for on Google. So you can kind of start your content creation there and incorporate these long tail keyword short phrases throughout your blog posts, your product descriptions, any piece of content on your webpage is an opportunity to naturally and organically weave these types of phrases in there. And another quick win, now that we understand, kind of the foundation of what we mean by keywords, we want to be specific, we want to be, really reaching those customers. On a lot of websites, there's an opportunity to add alt image descriptions, alt image text. It's a little bit of a technical piece, but every time you upload an image to your website, search engines typically will read what the title of the image is, they'll read the description behind it. They don't see the image for itself. So this is an opportunity. Whenever you upload an image, whatever your platform is, if there is a spot there that says, description, you can incorporate your keywords in those descriptions. Describe what those images are, naturally weave those in. And I call it an SEO free space because me, a user visiting your website, will not see those words. I see the image. I get to look at the image, see what's happening there. But search engine crawlers, Google, Bing, all of them, they'll see the text behind it. So it's a nice little spot that you can, naturally use your keywords that are relevant to that image in there and see a little bit more of an ROI as you're kind of building out or return on investment as you're building out your keyword strategy there. So that's a fun opportunity outside of your, actual content, your descriptions, your blog posts, things like that. That's a fun little free space that you could start incorporating those keywords a little bit more.
Love that. And there are some questions that I want to pause here because I think it's relevant. Can you repeat the keyword resources that you mentioned so we can drop those in the chat? I believe one was Google Analytics. I'll let you repeat that.
Sure. Yeah, and I know down the line I've got a little visual that just shows a couple different resources that I've seen customers use. There's so many out there. Figure out which one works best for you for sure. But there's things like Google Keyword Planner is one that's affiliated with Google. There's SEMrush, SEMrush. That is one that my team actually likes to use quite a bit when talking with customers just to play around. There are all sorts of stuff. You can even use AI, actually. We'll talk a little bit about that. AI can help you with a keyword strategy too. So all sorts of resources. You got to find which one works best for you though. So everyone's got their favorite.
Awesome. Thank you. I dropped those in the chat, but yes, Blair mentioned we're going to have a slide a little later that will have some options just so you can choose what's best for you. Thank you so much, Blair. Okay, so Julienne, how have you incorporated SEO strategies into your content or your product descriptions?
Hello, Brittany.
Hi.
Sorry. You were asking me, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I think something is wrong with my connection. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
But for myself, I am adding a lot of blogs to my website. So I'm using my short form content that I already have. I have obviously a lot of pieces and turning a lot of those into blogs. right? So just literally using whatever I had already said in the videos and turning it into blogs, because a lot of those have a lot of keywords, and when people look on Google or like any search engine, then they will more likely find the blog. But in the blog, because I already have a video, then I will also attach those as well, right? So attach videos and pictures as much as possible, because I want to give an example of like when you find a recipe online, if it just shows for me, I like to see the ingredients, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, I want to see a video. I want to see pictures. I want to see exactly how to do it. So connecting blogs for keywords and SEO, but also incorporating video that you already have and photos together can be very powerful pieces that you can have in your business. And I attach it to pretty much every type of marketing I do, including emails. Okay, so and then I wanted to give an example of my friend Alan, which I think Brittany's gonna pull up. And Brittany, can you still hear me, or is it kind of blurry right now?
No, I can hear you great. You sound great.
Okay.
I can see you. Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is an example of my friend, and I'm gonna tie in SEO in like putting SEO in your content, like how to have the keywords and everything at the end. So I just want to, tell you a quick story of my friend Alan. So at the time, so in 2017, he started doing photography, right? So he had 1 to 3 bookings a year, which obviously is not a lot. And he waited for people to contact him. That's the key words right there. He waited for people, which you don't want to do, but he dreamed of becoming a wedding photographer. By the way, he did 0 weddings at this time for many years. He just took photos like the ones you see. He would ask his friends when he was in college and after college, like, hey, can we take some photos of you, your significant other, or just solos? But in January 2021, I think that's around the time I met him, I told him, hey, like, we're starting our businesses, or I started mine for a year already, but I can help you if you can help me with photography. So he helped me with my product photography because I couldn't pay for that. It could get very expensive at that time. I didn't want to pay for it. And I said, hey, I will exchange with you my marketing services. So I told him, if you can contact 30 to 60 people per day through DM, which I don't really recommend right now, but at the time it was good because it was, during the pandemic, he contacted people directly. And then he also, we came up with a content strategy and then created content from new bookings. So whenever he did a photo shoot, I would film everything. So now we have more content to show his process of how he talks to people. That's very important when it comes to services. How do you talk to your clients? People want to see that. How do you treat them? How do you actually take the photos? And how do you guide them? One of his major things is guiding people now with posing. And that's why a lot of people hire him. So it was his first time in a month. He was able to book 30 photo shoots because he actively talked to people. He actively went out and talked to people through social media, and we started posting more content. So in 2021, I know that's only 3 months, he was like, I want to leave my job. And I'm like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy. Now we have to really come up with a strategy. So if you just pay attention real quick before we change the slide to the photos, okay? So this is what his photos look like. Now, if you go to the next slide, you could see a major change in his photography. It's a lot more high end. This is his Instagram, by the way, if you want to check him out. It's a lot more high end. And he does a lot of weddings now. In fact, within that span of time from 2021 till now, he has booked over 400 events, mainly weddings, okay? And over 80% of them have come from social media. Literally, people have said, because you'll ask people in your little, like, how did you find me? Instagram. Most of it was Instagram. Most of it was, and a little bit from TikTok. So I know someone asked, do you post on multiple platforms? The answer is yes. And then he was able to build a wedding photo and video team because it was needed. He needed to build a team because he couldn't handle all the bookings. And now he's also an ambassador for a well-known camera bag brand because they see that he posts really good content. So let's get to the SEO. I know I'm running out of time on my question, but just real quick for SEO, when it comes to people finding you, right? For people finding you, like how are people, like my target audience, how are they going to find me? So the way to do that, one way is doing hashtags. So if you look at the, if you could bring up the slide again, if you look at the venues, right? So if you look at the venue, there's one that's green. That is, let's say that place is called Saratoga Springs. So what we would do is hashtag the location Saratoga Springs and then put wedding photographer. Saratoga Springs wedding videographer, Saratoga, like a lot of keywords, or just the city itself. And we always geotag the location. So that is very, very important, especially if you raising your hands. If you have a service-based business and you have a storefront, or you like are more local, because mine is not local, right? A lot of people buy online. But if you have a local business, you need to always tag the location. Because even if you're a dentist, for example, right, there's only so many places within your city that people like, there's only so many dentists in your city, so you want to always put your location. So when he wanted to do SF City Hall, I said, you know what, let's do a strategy, let's come up with a whole plan of getting SF City Hall bookings. And because we did that, we used the hashtags San Francisco City Hall. We just kept blasting it, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And I'm telling you, it was pretty immediate. And this doesn't happen all the time, but within like a month, he was able to book like, well, at least inquiries rise. I want to say like over 30 inquiries just from San Francisco City Hall, because we did hashtags and geotagged and just blasted everybody with, and also did blogs. We also did blogs and put that out there. So that is how, tying all social media together. Again, it's a portfolio. You want to make a strong portfolio, not just as a photographer, but in general, of hashtagging, SEO, creating strong content, showing what your work looks like, showing how you work with people, especially if you're service-based. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to end for that section.
Oh, that is so, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, sorry, my blur. Okay. That is really, really cool, especially mentioning the geotag, because I'm thinking about, as a consumer, when I'm trying to search for something, I'll say, like photographer, my area, or eco-friendly stickers, or, I'm usually searching for, like, if I have kind of a specific thing I'm looking for, I'll throw that in there. And so that can help generate me finding what I'm looking for, especially within those social media platforms. That is a really cool story, Julienne. Okay, I have another question for you. Brand storytelling is a big topic these days. So how do you personally weave your business story into your content, Julienne?
Okay, so when it comes to the story, first of all, it is very important to have like an intro story about your business, because a lot of times we assume that people, for some reason in our head, we're like, oh yeah, people know who I am, they know what I do and why I do it. That's not true. Okay, I don't know why that's just a thing. That tends to happen a lot. So if you have videos about why you started your business, because that's something that you have that someone else, like you have a different story than other people, so it already makes you stand out. And people that connect with you and your story, they will follow you, they will follow on your journey, they will connect with your business, etc., right? Because now they want to be part of it because they connect with you. And one thing I want to mention is that you want to pin this on your page. So if there's a video that's very important to you, that it doesn't have to be your most popular video. A lot of people try to pin their most viral video, but it has nothing to do with their business. You don't want to do that. You want to pin the ones that tell people who you are and what you do and why your business is special, right? And I want to talk about the content strategy part of not just the big picture of why you do your business, but what about the daily things? Or what are you doing this month, right? So you can kind of talk about your business story, or like experiences you've had little by little, so people have an idea of what you're doing, again, and like your personality and things like that. I know Blair said like it's not enough to just say like, here's my product and this is what it does, right? So you got to get creative with those pieces. So that's how I would incorporate it into my content. And then again, I just want to bring this point back, is when you have a business plan, you need to relate that content to the business, to your business plan. So yes, it is very important to tell people why you do what you do. And I don't want to get too detailed, but one thing that helps me is Asana. I forgot to mention this. Asana is one of the resources that I use. It helps me organize my tasks and also like connect it with my calendar and all those things. But yes, it is very important to weave in your story throughout your content. And there are creative ways of doing that, like through B-roll shots. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but like getting different angles of your business and just answering those questions of why you started.
I love that, especially the behind the scenes stuff. That is so cool and really helps people connect. Blair, my next question is for you. What are some tips for writing or representing your brand story in a way that improves its discoverability through SEO and social media platforms?
Sure. I am so excited because I think without even knowing, Julienne has examples for everything I'm about to talk to on this question here. So when it comes to your brand story, you want to make sure you're balancing authenticity with content strategy, strategic optimization that way. We want to be diversifying our channels. So a couple things to do that. So let's say you have a blog post. Again, dog beds, they help with dogs with arthritis, they help older dogs, dogs with illnesses, and you're trying to talk about, why this product is great, what dogs with these issues, why these beds are awesome for them. So here's how you would actually do that. So you'd write that blog post. Then look, let's take one or two snippets from that blog post and let's talk about it on Facebook. Link back to the blog if we'd like, kind of build that connection that way. Then, oh, I could create an infographic. Let's create an infographic, post that on Pinterest, link back to the website that way, maybe post it on Instagram. Oh, I have videos. I have videos that local shelters, I've donated some to local shelters. They sent me videos of some of their dogs. Let me post some of those short form videos, B-roll, content without any narration to it. Let's put that on Instagram Reels, and you can kind of build off one content piece. You can build a lot of different strategies out of that, and use those different channels that way. So as Julienne was mentioning, when it comes to the website, keywords are great. Doing some keyword research, understanding how Google wants to identify you and understanding how they're going to promote you. What are people searching for? How can we answer that? When it comes to social media, you use things like hashtags. Hashtags in a way are like keywords to SEO to your website, that helps identify what that content is and if others are looking for that content. Branded hashtags are great. Geolocating and geo-targeting as you have them on your post. Another thing too is utilize user-generated content. If you're building out that strategy, you're building out your story, you're posting about something, your customers are responding to you, posting to you as well. They're advocates for you. They're secret sales people as well. So if they're trying to tag in something or talk to you about something, respond to them, share their stuff out as well. And lastly, to tie it all together, I already kind of mentioned this, but tailoring it depending on the platform. So that one blog post, that could be 5 or 6 different content pieces that you spread out in different areas. So just, it's great to start high level, kind of like that inverted pyramid, similar idea. Start high level, have 3 or 4 content piece ideas. Say, hey, I want to talk about the benefits of the dog bed. I want to talk about dog breeds, larger breeds, smaller breeds, what sizes work. And then I also, I just want to have a fun piece of content in there talking about myself and my dog. And, let's go through here. Those 3 different pieces, you can pick sections from each of those content pieces and tailor them to each of your platforms. And that's a great way to make one content piece work for you, 7 or 8 different times. It's a good way to keep that brand voice consistent as well, because you're all going back to the same source. You're working off this one piece of content and branching out that way.
Always amazing because it's so many different kinds, but it's really all, like you said, it's very targeted into one place. Okay, Julienne, was there a piece of content that didn't work as planned? I feel like, we have so many stories about, all the content is hitting, but yeah, where was there a piece of content that didn't work as planned? And what did you learn, or how did that change the way you created content?
I love this question because there's not just one piece of content that didn't go as planned. Lots of content didn't go as planned. So what I like about this is that, let's say you, like for me, there are many times where I spent so much time on one, like a short form video. I like talking about short form videos as I put those out the most. And let's say I spent hours on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I put the best words. I put all these things. I like did different angles and then I just waited and I was like, okay, this one's going to do great. It's like I had this expectation and then it quote unquote flops. And I'm like, wow, I just spent like 3 hours or something, some kind of amount of hours on it. So the lesson that I've had to learn multiple times is it's not about the perfection. It's still about the consistency in which you post. Because remember, again, your social media it's not just about virality. I know everyone always wants that viral thing because they think it's going to solve all their problems. But I'm telling you right now, it's not true. I've had multiple videos go viral and some of them didn't bring me the most customers, just people liked watching it or they liked saving it, right? So again, it's not about the perfection, but consistency. And that's why having that plan of how does it relate to your business right? And your campaigns, the campaigns that you have in your business, does it relate to that? With my friend, when I gave the example of my friend Alan, he loves putting up videos about how he poses his couples, and it says it right there on the hook. So this is just one piece of advice. Obviously, people are very quick to swipe away. You want to have a very strong hook, and hook could be easy. You could just say literally what the video is about, right? Like how I literally, this is what Alan does, how I post couples for weddings, how I post couples at Saratoga Springs, how I post couples, and then results at the end, right? So, and those have, if you notice, he only has like 2,000 followers, but he's gained 80% of his bookings because of social media, because it's the right content. So when it comes to like flopping, I want to give an example of I did a reading program, and I use this as a lead magnet, which I wish I had time to talk about. I use it as a lead magnet to bring more people into my business by giving them a free limited design like sticker for reading 20 chapters of a book. Because I was like, I have a lot of bookmarks in my shop. I want to attract more bookstores, and I want to put out this program. So all people had to do was fill out a Google form and join my email list and things like that. I put out lots of content about it. I want to say maybe like 10 videos about this reading program. The first one didn't do so well. I was like 1,000 people, and then only like 2 people joined my reading program. Then I had another video, didn't do so well. And then like, I think on my 4th video, something like that, my hook was, I got rejected from the library. And people are like, wait a minute, how? So then they watch the whole thing, and it's actually only like 7 seconds long. I like talked pretty quickly through it. But it was enough for them to save and want to look into my reading program. And then through those, they noticed it was like a bunch of videos that were similar. So they watched each one to get more details about what the reading program was. And it directed them to my blog about my reading program on my website. So that's where I put the blog. So in the end, I ended up gaining over like around 250 email subscribers just from that very short period of time, because of the lead magnet. So those are ways I'm incorporating like a strategy with your content creation. So again, it's not about one piece. You can't just say like, oh, I want to talk about my campaign, and you do it one time and it doesn't work, and no, you don't get any sales from it. You don't want to have the attitude of like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work out, so let's just move on. But you got to try in different ways. Okay, so that's the end message there.
Love that. Yeah, I also love the hook and how you talk about, you only have a few seconds, if that, to catch people's attention. So make sure they know what they're getting into. Okay, Julienne, my next question is for you again. How do you create content that not only attracts, but also engages and retains customers?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep this one a little short. So I like to use things that would engage with them literally through like polls on your story. Ask them questions. You can do that on your story also, or within your video. You can have people comment, get them more involved with your business, right? And make videos from those questions as well. And then how I talked about the reading program, that does attract my existing customers because it's like a special gift for them. They're like, oh, this is like a new thing she's throwing out, and I'm glad that I'm following her so that I can be part of this. So it keeps people coming back. And of course, telling people I'm going to do it again, then they will continue to stay with me on my journey. A lot of my customers have been with me for a long since like 2021, etc. So and then also using that content in your emails. So just again, tying everything together. Yeah, so that's how I would engage more of my customers that I already have.
I love that. Wonderful. And then BLAIR. How can small businesses use data or tools to identify what their customers want to see?
Perfect. And I think I have a visual for this one. Just a couple different tools that we've seen customers use and see success on. There are so many resources and tools, several. You can find what works for you. Julienne mentioned Asana. It's been a long time since I worked in Asana, but I've heard great things about that. So there's all sorts of different tools to help you identify how to control your structure, what your customers are looking for. Let's start from a website functionality or performance perspective. So first thing, maybe you're getting the customers to your website, but you're not getting the sales that you're expecting. So there's a couple tools to help you analyze what's going on. One of the visuals, the top one here, is a heat map. So things like Hotjar, Full Story, those are all heat maps that physically show you where the mouse is lingering, where they're looking, where they're clicking. And if you're noticing that maybe you have this call to action button, a buy now, a shop button that's not getting a lot of clicks, let's figure out why. That'll help kind of identify maybe what the problem area is. Google Analytics is another good one. That's Google telling you exactly what's happening on your website, which pages customer visits most, how long they stay on that page, where they tend to drop off. Another way to identify on your current website, maybe something that we can work on. Now, we also talked about keywords. So from more of that search engine optimization perspective, there are so many tools out there to talk about keyword research. A few I've seen customers work on is, Google has their own suite and their own set of tools. So Google Keyword Planner is a popular one. SEMrush. So the second image there is just a little bit of what we call a keyword overview. So it'll break down, what's going on your website, what keywords you are ranking for, maybe ones you're having success in, but there's one maybe you thought, oh my gosh, people are definitely finding me when they search, dog beds, again, back to my example here. And then you realize, no, maybe you're not getting any traffic from that, but you're getting traffic from this keyword or this long tail keyword you didn't know that you were ranking for. So those types of things can help you identify either keywords to pursue or keywords that maybe aren't worth pursuing anymore because there's too much competition for it. And lastly, when it comes to customers specifically, they are giving you feedback all the time, whether you use these tools or not. Likes, comments, shares, reviews, anytime you're interacting with your customer, they're giving you feedback that you can pay attention to and utilize later for future conversations. And I threw in one other tool on the slide too, because I think it's fun. Canva and Lumen 5, those are great for building content. I'm sure I saw Julienne's got a lot of fun content, fun visual pieces that they're working on. Those are also some tools I've seen customers work with, and they have a lot of fun with it. So, there's all these things to help you set up and make it a little bit easier to build your content and listen to your customers.
Love the heat map and the idea of being able to check what keyword is bringing people there, because that can give you insight if you're making sales or if you're not making sales. Like, are people coming to your site for the wrong thing or the right thing? That is so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Blair, what opportunities do you see for small businesses and leveraging content or SEO moving forward?
So the digital e-commerce space is constantly evolving. There are plenty of opportunities for small businesses to use. We just spoke on a couple resources to help you utilize your SEO, but the hot topic at the moment is generative AI or artificial intelligence. Oh my goodness. So things like that can help you with keyword research as well. I like to call AI your unpaid intern. Great for generating content ideas, great for generating, keyword strategies. You can ask, hey, I sell dog beds. I'm looking for a couple long tail keywords to focus on. Can you come up with a list for me to start off of? Can help you, automate some of your social media posts. A lot of those tools, like I mentioned, Canva and Lumen 5 have their own built-in AI technologies as well to help you come up with content and what that could look like. So AI is definitely a fun one. It helps you, get ahead, work on your competitive advantage over your other competitors. That's actually something that my team, we play around with AI quite a bit too, just to see capabilities, see how customers can start using it. And sometimes we'll do a bit of a competitive analysis as well. We'll be like, hey, this is how ChatGPT is identifying your website. This is what the message that you're receiving. Does that correlate with what you think you're putting out there? So I would say right now, AI is a fun one, becoming more of a necessity to your marketing strategy than a fun unpaid intern. But that being said, you always want, AI is great for drafting these ideas. You always want to add the human touch. You want to edit it. You want to look it over. You want to make sure it's consistent with your brand voice. And, just to be safe, we want to avoid any potential copyright issues or anything there. So we want to make sure AI is great at, generating the idea, and then we're going to have the final say. We're going to edit that draft and make it nicer. But that's a great way to also save some time on your marketing strategy.
That's a great point. I feel like AI is everywhere, so it's a great resource, but also making sure you still have a hand in it because it is your business. Julienne, what new trends do you want to try this year to connect with your audience?
So I just wanted to leave a message about trends. Be very wary of trends, okay? Don't focus too much on them because it can make you lose focus about your business. So if you have a campaign, you want to focus on that. If the trend relates to the campaign, sure, go for it. It could possibly get more eyes on your business. That's why people do it. But again, just be a little weary. One thing I do want to try instead of a trend this year, I'm not too focused on that, is a series. So a series of videos that I think would attract more of my audience. Okay. So I think I want to do like a 30 video series. I know that's a lot, but I'm going to challenge myself to do that. And I will use ChatGPT to create the series for me. So I will plug in as much information as I can and then have it come up with ideas and then just take notes from there, like what Blair was saying. And just last note here, you can use ChatGPT like it's like you're talking to a person or like a not a counselor but like someone that can help you, right? So they can understand your business better. The more you feed them, the more you tell them, it can actually give you a lot of feedback. Hey, can I help you create a Google form for this? Hey, can I help you create a list of topics for you? It is a very, very big tool that I definitely recommend using, but not just using like for captions, but really like strategizing out your business. It can help a lot with that.
Love that. Oh my goodness. That is such a good way to look at it as like a support. And also we're going to get into our last question, which is going to be a final takeaway advice from each of our panelists. Blair, I want to start with you. What is one actionable tip you give to our attendees today? Because we've learned so much and sometimes that can be great and sometimes it can be overwhelming. But what's one actionable tip you would give to our attendees to start improving their e-commerce content today?
Sure. So there's a lot of opportunity if we want to, look at our business plan, start making content. But something I think that you can do today is audit what you currently have. Look at your blog posts, look at your product descriptions, look at all the content on your website, and just look for opportunities. See if there's an area that you could expand on, especially, product descriptions do take they get you very far. You wouldn't think about it because you have all these product listings, but they do get you very far in terms of SEO because you have an opportunity to really expand, talk about the product, the benefits, concise language. You can use bullet points. You don't have to write a book or a novel about your product, but include details, dimensions, materials, care instructions, feedback from customers. That's really a great opportunity to just increase your keyword usage. You've got a couple keywords or phrases that you would like to rank for, start putting them in your product descriptions. If you have older blog posts, something that we always talk about is having evergreen content or content that either can be updated regularly to keep it relevant. That's another opportunity. Just audit your blog post, see if there's something you can edit to make it more up to date. And if not, see if you can expand on it. Again, add more of those keywords because not only do you want to focus on what you're ranking for, but how often you use those keywords is also relevant to the success of that long tail keyword, whether it helps your company. So take a look at your website, work with ChatGPT or any of those resources, Google's Gemini, AI, anything like that. Use whatever resources that kind of spoke to you and try and audit what you've got now, because that's going to build the foundation for you to create new content later on.
Oh, love that. That is amazing and super helpful advice and what we can use. And Julienne, same question for you. What is one actionable tip you'd give to attendees who want to start improving their e-commerce content today?
So I'll keep mine simple. Write out 10 ideas about your next campaign and choose one and post it immediately. The problem is a lot of people think too much, right? When I said like, oh, I take too much time, perfectionism, whatever, just do it right away. So you get faster at taking action and you build consistency so you can have a better portfolio of what your business is and people can find you better also through, the hashtags and everything. So again, just write down 10 video ideas about your next campaign, choose one and post it right away.
I love that. Take action now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Julienne Reyes from Belugabee and Blair Castle from FedEx for coming and sharing your information today. It was so valuable. And thank you to all of the business owners out there who took the time out of your day to take in this information. We hope it was valuable. All right. We'll see everyone in the next one. Bye.
Bye.